All right, Professor Leonard, let's rumble, brother. About to get close.
So
Got to
let's
be
get
getting
started
so
with
close.
our
So
actual
close.
calculus stuff. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. So with our calculus, we're
Well,
gonna talk
I don't need
about
that. We can
limits first. Now,
pop this
our
one open here.
limits
We'll do
is
it like
really
this.
the basis to our calculus. It's how we do calculus. We're gonna find out some kind of tricks to calculus later, but for right now, if you know how to do limits,
Come on.
you're gonna be able to do calculus. So it's probably
Do
a
it.
pretty important idea, yeah?
Come on.
Yeah. So
Do
we're gonna
it.
find that out towards the last part of this class.
Come on.
For right now, I want to lead
Not
you
working,
through
it's broken.
an introduction to calculus and what it's all about. Are you ready to learn that?
Save it. I
So
don't think I
review is
saved
over
it.
with,
Oh, I did take a picture.
thankfully. Now we're going to slow down just a little bit. We're going to talk about actual calculus stuff. So no more really hair-raising, kind of, oh my gosh, so much stuff. We're going to go a little bit slower, but it's going to be more in-depth. You ready for it? Slightly slower, not much slower.
Yeah.
In calculus, we have two basic goals in calculus one. This introductory course to
I
calculus.
mean, you got. When I said so close, I meant so close that they were the same thing, but they can't be the same thing. Can't let Q be P, and therefore that'll get into what calculus is doing this. So to finish that off, I told you I was going to give you a sub problem. I've never learned geometry. Easy problems maybe. All right, I could set that up for you. It's all here. Easy to moderate problems in itself. This whole setup is one of them in Scale about what the geometry of geometry is, and moderate to advanced problems. Now we could really open this up and seeing that it's kind of an undertone in the carriage of what that material is.
I mean, you can approximate it. You can go, oh,
Okay, so you got all the
I'll find
shapes,
slope.
all
Let's see,
some
slope is-
I don't know, special type of cone, right? You know, a small radius, a big radius, and an
accurate?
H.
No
Right?
idea.
You got to deal with it.
Well, we can't
How
really
good
just
is
kind of
your
approximate slope. What we're gonna do is find
arithmetic
out a really
skills?
good
Now,
way
this
to
one I
calculate
actually
how
just
to
used an
find
ASVAB. It's
the
pretty
slope of
simple,
curve
but
at a
I
point.
chose a
If
very
I ask
difficult
you
one.
a certain thing in this class, you're gonna say, oh, it's the
I
slope
wanted
of
it
curve
to
at a point. We're
be
gonna talk about that for a long
in
time.
a way
That's goal number one. Goal
this
number
is
one
an easy
to find the slope
problem, but
of
it's
a tangent,
moderate
to find
and
the
it's
tangent
very
to a curve
difficult.
at a point. The tangent is the
If you
line
separate some
intersection
of those
curve at one
pieces
on one spot
and
in
you
a-
do
in
it
an
right,
area.
that becomes an easy
goal
problem with
number
the easy
one-
moderate, right? Because this is a plane and a car, miles per hour, miles per minute, doing the conversion over
Find the tangent
minutes
which
per
involves
mile.
the slope
That's a pretty
of
difficult
the curve
problem.
at a point.
Really check yourself. How good do you feel about algebra? Here's one. Try it out. Where do you feel about it? If you saw this, how do you feel about the intimidation of the process? Or even if it was teaching the more advanced variant on it, but still doing the work, like, because you have to work
That's
this
goal
stuff
one.
out. You have
If we
to
can
show
do
the
that,
math
we're on
in the subject space.
Calculus, faster path, fast pace.
Faster path. We'll get to that here in a minute.
So
Here,
we want to
Professor
take a
Leonard.
curve, be able to find the slope of that curve at a point. That's
So
gonna
your
lead to the
algebra. Now
tangent,
this one was a
and
little bit
vice versa.
different.
Tangent and
I
slope
changed it off. Now
go
again,
hand
this
in
is
hand.
my master sheet, so I
Goal
would be
number two,
breaking
which is
this
the
down
last
on the
half of our
board
class.
for
Maybe a little
this
less
is the
than that.
question. Maybe
Goal
the
number
sheet,
two
you can
is
always
also
change
really
these
interesting
numbers
question.
around,
So cool.
right? And they're going to range
By
in
the way, this stuff is
complication.
stuff you
Here I
can't
just
answer
did
in
5
class,
because I
right?
have 5
You
nice
can't
spaces
do that
of
with
a
algebra.
nice
There's no way you can do
complicated
that with algebra. You can't find the slope of a
algebra
curve. Are you
worksheet,
kidding me?
right?
Slope of a straight
We're
line,
going to
easy.
log
Slope of a
that
curve?
before we
Wow,
find
is
that
that
because
not an
there is a
intriguing idea?
geometry,
It
a
should be.
photoelectric
If you're in
effect
this
to
class,
it that
you're
really
it's
helps
kinda cool.
you
How can you find the slope
with
of a
this
curve?
calculus.
I
We're
don't know.
gonna
Calculus.
the
The
limits.
next question is probably even a little bit more
All
interesting.
right, so
Next question
and
is,
there
let's
you're gonna run
suppose I
that
have
out.
some
Like
funky
again, that's
any
pretty.
curve that
You
that
could
can
probably
think of
do
as long
these
as
ones.
it's
Hey, I
defined
feel
by a function.
I could do a minus 2
Can you
if a is
between
10.
two
That's pretty
points?
straightforward and simple, but it'll get more complicated. 1/4 u
Find
minus
the
6
area under that curve.
whatever I did there.
Can you do it?
It's like that. Arithmetic, huh?
Answer is
or
right now,
yeah,
with what you know.
arithmetic.
Can you do that with
Car
geometry?
miles per hours. Yeah,
So I
it's
can say,
actually
okay, great. Find
hard.
the area of something that's
the
curved.
gates.
Can you do that? No.
So Pythagorean
No,
theorem
you
here.
can't
This
use
is
the
actually
area for
one of
rectangles,
those
not
3,
rectangles.
4, 5
Can't use the area for triangle,
squares.
that's
It's
not
ideal,
triangle.
I think, is what they
You
call it
can't break
for.
this up in any way
But
that you have
good way to
geometric
break
figures,
down
can
the
you?
SOHCAHTOA lecture,
Not even
sine,
circles, not even radiuses,
cosine, and
the radius is
tangent,
changing.
opposite,
So the next question
hypotenuse,
is,
show you what
can
those
you
look like. So
find
the x is
the
here, so
area
that's the opposite.
Under a curve.
If I
Those are
wanted
the
x
two
here,
goals of
this would be
calculus.
the
Find
opposite,
slope or
but
the
it's
tangent of a
not.
curve at a point.
And right now I'm
And
giving you
secondly,
some
can you
specific
find the area
numbers
under a
for
curve between two
3,
points?
4, and 5. That's a 3, 4, 5 rule for square. You can turn that up here. I did
Interesting
it in
stuff,
quarter
weird
inches,
stuff,
so
right?
this is
Some crazy
actually
questions
a
going on.
right right triangle, but there's a process to figuring out this angle here, and it's 36.86. And through other lectures out there doing that, you're gonna figure out how to do the process, why you like it like that. You can change the numbers around if you want. This one here is a pretty hard line.
And amazingly, it's actually
Until
not
we
that
get to
hard.
calculus
This is, I think it's
1-1.
Pre-calculus. It's easier than that. You don't have to do. Maybe not.
Okay, so we're finding that curve at a point, and
Well,
we're
gonna talk
finding
about
the
first, we're talking
area
about tangent problem. I'll give you a
under
very
that curve
intro to
between
this,
2
but I'll talk
points,
about it later on.
right? Because
We're going to talk about this for
we're
most
gonna
of our
turn
day
this
today.
up.
So let's talk about the tangent problem. Are you ready? Do you have any questions on the ideas of the goals of calculus? Do you understand what the goals are? The goals are A, find the tangent or the slope of a curve at a point. That's what we want to do. Goal number 2, after we finish this, we're going to move on to finding the area under a curve between
Well, that
2
would
points.
be
Very cool ideas. So, let's work
this
on
one
the
here.
tangent problem.
Geometry,
right off
get
the
the
bat.
geometry, arithmetic, algebra, trigonometry. When we get into chemistry, for funsies for me, and the route I'm traveling for the calculus here.
You're lucky you're here today. Okay, this is it.
This
is
also
like the
ties
fundamental
into the
idea of
logarithm
calculus. It's
series
so cool.
and
We're gonna figure out
functions
what
and
a limit is from
dominions
doing this
and
idea right here too.
all kinds of fun stuff.
Here's the
So
tangent
again,
problem.
continue
The
this
tangent problem
through
says,
the
if
chemistry
you give me any
variable of
arbitrary
ideal
curve, so I'm just making
gases
it- I
and
don't even know
ideal
what that is.
and
It's
real
just an arbitrary
gases.
curve. And you
Right,
give
we're
me a
going to be
point.
looking at them like particle physics and
Let's call that P.
vector positions, cosmic radiation backgrounds, and those are going to be our curves, and we're going to want to try to get P's
Give me a
close to
point called
Q's
P.
or Q's
I
close to
want to be
P's
able to
and
find the slope of
those
that
things like
curve
that because they're
at point P.
really a lot of the same stuff.
Do you get the idea?
Um,
Talk about the tangent problem right now, right? Slope of
okay,
that
so
curve at
hopefully
that
I've
point.
covered the information. You'll
Because
see
if we
where
have
I'm
the
going with
slope
the rest of
and
this
we have
before
the
we get
point, we can
into
make the equation of a tangent.
chemistry,
That's pretty easy.
psychology.
That's just y minus
Well,
y1
what's
plus
the
x times x1.
the
So,
intro
right now we
on
have the point.
how
What
you
we're
want
worried
to
about
define
is
this
the
math
slope of the
problem
curve at that
of
point.
psychology?
Now,
Do
the
you
problem
want
is
it to
this.
be some
If
geometry?
we're going to make a tangent
Do
line, how many
you
points
want
do you
it to
need
be
to make up a line?
psychology is
have?
dual diagnosis off
That's the
of
problem. How are you
curves.
supposed to make the
Let's
equation
call
of
them,
a line
right?
when
You know,
only
this
have
is
one
a learning
point
curve
and you don't know the
process,
slope yet?
and
Do
it
you
can
see
be
the
two
issue?
things, right? I want
That's
you
the
to know
problem.
two things
So
in
here's what we're
calculus:
gonna
schizo
We're gonna say,
and how to
okay,
fix
well,
it, right?
Let's put some point
Let's
somewhere else on
start
this thing.
picking
How
up on the
about,
heat where we're losing stuff in the area of that slope. I'm trying to get there to it. There's going to be some hedging under this curve here
if
about
I connect these
what
two
you
things,
got to do to figure out what that is mathematically without just physically getting the ruler out and throwing it up there on the board and measuring it. Because in reality, you might not have those circumstances for whatever reason.
Do you know? It's a secant line. If you've had
Okay,
some
so that's my
geometry,
note. I wanted to drop that into you
connects
guys.
two parts
Just
of a-
go ahead and make sure
usually a
we
circle, but of any
we show
function.
that
So
back up here.
we would say
Make sure I
that
give Professor Leonard his due in this. And
PQ
for me, you know, you may want to
is a
change these
secant
things
line.
out.
It touches two
I'm
points of this curve.
specifically headhunting some of this stuff because I want to give legends inside the tomb here some of their due and make sure that I got it covered in my material for the grimoire here, the tomb, the tome. So, son, your name's Legend because you're actually a couple in here. Well, anyways,
You agree
catch you
that
on the next
we
one.